Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Jiffy Ice Auger. Customer complaint is that the recoil rope won't pull out. Now, I know this is a dirty, disgusting, foul, vile four-stroke engine that swims in its own dirty, disgusting, putrid filth. Not like a two-stroke that gets a fresh, clean shot of oil with every pulse of the engine. But, you know, you got to work on what you got to work on, right? So this one happens to be an LP-powered unit. And it looks like the power head is loose from the transmission. So right off the bat, I think I found my problem. Now, I'm completely ignoring the fact that that crankcase vent hose is just hanging out there in the open. I can't even see that. I've already got my eyes set on that loose transmission mount, and that's where I'm going to go. Yeah.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Stick around to find out how that was a trip down the wrong road. But before I start getting into the transmission, we're going to take a look at the starter mechanism, make sure that's not the problem. And I took a look underneath the flywheel to make sure there's nothing jammed underneath it. Totally missing basic diagnostic procedure on this one. And I'm not blaming it on the fact that it's a four-stroke.
Gripes.
Huh. I just, again, I thought I had my eyes set on the prize there, and I started moving forward. My mind was probably somewhere else. So we're going to take this thing apart. There's 4 bolts that hold these handlebars. There's 2 handlebar halves. First I want to get the auger off.
Got it.
Well, I got the auger off. Anyway, there's 2 halves of the handlebar and a metal strap that goes in between them to kind of locate them a little bit. We'll get them out of the way, and then we'll get into this transmission and see what's going on. So I think, if I remember right, this was standard hardware on here. Could be wrong. I can't read the wrench. Looks like it was a 7/16. So we're going to open this thing up. Let's go! This guy's dinking around. I'm getting way ahead of myself here, and this guy's just dinking around. So, what do we got? Get the bolt out of there. Let's go. This is a plastic cover. I mean, we're seeing it in lawnmowers, plastic transmissions. At least that gear is still steel, right? So I don't see any teeth missing from the gear. And, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a lot of grease in there, but I don't really think that's a huge problem. Although if you've worked on an old Jiffy Model 30 Ice Auger and been in that transmission, they're just packed with grease. So it looked like the clutch drum spun free, and it would unless the clutch shoe or something was jammed up against the face of it. But here I'm seeing nothing wrong with this clutch. It all looks brand new underneath here. And right about now I'm realizing that I kind of jumped the gun, and I should have just went with basic troubleshooting procedures. And I got a good idea that this thing is junk. But I'm going to bolt it together. I don't want to give it to the guy in a box. And, whatever. Look at this thing. There's hardly any grease in that transmission. Yeah, you got to have grease on the gear, but what happens after that few hours that's all flung off of there? I don't know. I don't know the service record of these things, how well they hold up. I know that the latest craze is battery-powered augers, and apparently they have enough juice to, you know, drill enough holes for a weekend. So they cost a little bit more, but tell you what, as long as you you know, store your battery properly, you know, the auger's going to start every winter, right? So we'll get this thing buttoned back up here. Put our metal gear back on with limited grease. Put a little bit of grease in that bronze bushing. Put our plastic cover back on. And drop some bolts in it. So once I get this buttoned up here, I'm going to flip it over and pull the dipstick and take a look. But like I said, I don't want it in a box, so I can tell you that we're going to find that this engine is low on oil. And I'm just thinking that maybe with that crankcase vent hose hanging out like that, you know, these little 4-cycle engines, some of them are like multi-position, at least 2 different positions they can run in. And if you store them with the piston horizontal, a lot of times oil can sneak past the rings and hydrolock above the cylinder and keep you from being able to pull the cord. And that's why I pulled the spark plug out earlier, just to see if there's any oil on top of the piston. I happen to have a little mini tiller sitting just alongside the bench here that's got that problem. If I store it one way, the next day it'll start up. If I store it in the operating position, the next day it'll be hydrolocked. And it's a brand new engine, so I don't know if the rings just aren't seated or if there's a broken ring or what, but with that tube hanging out like that, I'm just wondering if it was stored like this, in this orientation, and the oil ran out of the crankcase onto the ground and no one bothered to check the oil level. Because when we take a look in here, that's some really, really pretty looking oil, isn't it? It's almost like a little glitter fest going on there. And the volume of oil coming out, that's it. That is all that this filthy, disgusting 4-stroke was swimming in. That ain't much. So that's what leads me to believe that, I mean, that's more than like assembly lube, you know. So there was oil in it at one time. It makes me think that it all ran out and no one did anything about it. So we're going to speed through this, put it back together. I mean, that's all I got for you on the filthy, disgusting 4-stroke ice auger. Thanks for watching. Later. We're not going to hear that one run.